Why don't I keep a Sharpie on my person at all times? What's the worst that could happen? Don't answer that.
Famous last words.
Are there things that have multiple outlets in them? Ugh.
What's up, Cotton?
Hey, man.
What are you up to, man?
It's time to start building the frame.
Ooh, frame time.
Frame time. We're gonna start with a couple bars that come up off the front of the frame, and then we'll start tying this frame in together up top. And I need to figure out where that point of origin is, right up here, up front. What I did was I set this, if my hand's the frame, I leaned this a little far forward, and where my finger is called at the end of the frame, I kind of nudged this up to about where that piece of tubing is going to sit on the frame, and the cowl took the tubing and pushed it back as far as it can go, and then I brought it back just a couple of degrees from there to make sure we've got plenty of room to work with. And none of this isn't like precision work, it's just kind of an idea. Yeah, that'll be fine. That's about the same on both sides. There's our angle. That's what we're allowed. I can go ahead and start building the chassis up from the ladder frame. Then we can take the hood off, and that's a fixed point that we can start measuring from a bunch of different things. I don't know, I'm not a fabricator. Some wiggle room in there in the hood, so I can build up to this angle and I know for sure it's not gonna hit anything. I don't know for sure. I think for sure it's not gonna hit anything. I mean, if it's not right, well, none of it's right. This engine never belonged in this frame. None of this belongs together. Nope. We'll just do a little bit of that. Much closer to where we need to be. I like that. Okay. Set these down how I kind of think they're gonna go ish.
That's a neat little doohickey you have there.
Thanks, man. It's my strong hand. It's close enough to nudge it into place later with a little bit of persuasion.
Did you just add another point to your fabrication skill level?
Ooh, now I did. The idea was to keep these guys clear of the front of this cowl, so when it closes, we've got clearance. Man, that's accidentally really square up there.
Professional did that.
Wow. I'm a professional accidenter. Let's do 32. I think that gives us enough. It'll stick out enough to where we can have our steering stem and everything kind of mounted on it, on a cross member between the two of them. I don't have a tubing notcher, but I can, fish mouth everything by hand with the grinder. And if we kind of stick this thing like loosely together, this upper part of the chassis first, it'll give us a good idea for if we're even in the ballpark of whether this will work or not. 27.5 inches. I think that'll be cool because there'll be just maybe a little bit of bend sticking out of that cowl. Maybe. It's just something kind of aesthetic. You can see some bent tubing. I don't know. Who doesn't like the way bent tubing looks? I don't have a tubing bender. Ugh. But I think I can make this work. I think this will be okay. Ish. I don't see anything wrong with that, man.
Like it?
Yeah. 14 degrees.
All right, that's the goal.
I'm using this center bit of the tube as my reference plane. Well, if it'll zero, there we go. 15 degrees. Okay, 14 degrees. So from here, bring this back to centered up on my bend. Now I'm gonna set this as my reference again, zeroed out. In my mind, I think, don't do what I do, I'm an idiot. But I think I need to get this reading 14.5 degrees for that to be 15. Because half of that bend is on this side of the die and half of that bend is on this side of the die. So if I'm trying to go from 14 to 15, I think I need to go 14.5 indicated. I say indicated, I mean indicated after spring back. I want this to settle out at 14.5 degrees. We're at 14.45. So let's zero this out there. 15 exactly. That's perfect. 1495 to 15. Cool. 1485. That's the same bend on both sides. That's super live-withable. If you're gonna do just a single point bend on a piece of 1-inch 083 wall using the 3/4 inch pipe die on this thing, I don't know, 15 degree bends work fine. For little stuff. For dumb, slow stuff that's going in your backyard, you'd probably be okay with these results. The bend that this needs to make to become parallel with the ladder frame is maybe 10 degrees. It's not 15. But I have to compensate a little bit because the cowl here, where in relation to the origin point for this big, I don't, what is that, a stringer? I don't know what that would be. But the origin point, they're kind of close together. They're about, what did I measure that at? Like 13-ish inches center to center.
13.5.
And both of those points are coming out, they're basically, they're branching off this way, right? Rather than running parallel, they're kind of branching out this way. So 15 degrees lets me get that rotation. You know, if the pipe comes off at an angle like this, and then you kind of rotate it a little bit, you can take what did stick out that way and kind of make less of a bend, but you bring it all together a little bit, I think. I don't know, it'll be close.
We're gonna see.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? Don't answer that.
Famous last words.
So we'll measure this guy 33 and kind of mark it at that 33 mark. Not kind of mark it. We're gonna actually mark it at 33. There's one. Let's cut it on this side so that my offhand can support the cut piece. Cool. Man, these are nice. It's not as accurate as a chop saw would be, but it's a lot quieter, it's a lot cleaner. I don't know, it's kind of a wash.
It cuts.
It cuts. We're just dealing with 083 1-inch tubing. So, doesn't take much to cut through it. Cool. Scraps. I guess I should see if, you know, they are actually the same bend. Hey, That's the same bend.
Yep. Wow.
That's nice.
Good work, Cotton.
Thanks, man.
It's another fabrication point.
Trying to get as many of those as I can. I'm gonna have these center supports. They're kind of wide, and your legs will go around them down to the footwells here, or the floorboards, or whatever they're gonna be. Pegs, who knows. But I want this to be wide enough to where you can use that kind of with your inner thigh, knee area to also give yourself something to brace off of in corners and stuff, to just kind of keep yourself in place in the seat. Because I don't want it, this thing would look so goofy with a big, enclosed racing seat kind of thing, a big, hugely bolstered racing seat.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna work aesthetically. Doesn't make any sense. Also, there's not gonna be anything to mount a harness to because it's not gonna have a roll cage. So I'm gonna see if this works. I don't really see anybody do this, and it kind of makes sense to me. It might be totally useless, and that's why nobody does it. I don't know, but seems logical to me. Why don't I keep a Sharpie on my person at all times? And I accidentally cut some pretty good 2x4s for this job. Oh,
Wasn't that the initial temporary hood?
oh yeah, it's been a lot of temporary stuff on this thing so far. Okay, maybe it's not as good as I thought. Man, I feel like I jumped on the flappy disk bandwagon way too late. These things are great. Sure, why not? I think it just gives enough flexibility to be able to kind of move stuff a little bit. And that's really nice when you don't know what you're doing. Are there things that have multiple outlets in them? That'd be nice. Yeah, I don't know, something like that ought to work. Nothing to it but to do it, I reckon, eh? What's that smell? Hey, it worked. What is that? That smells yuck. Oh, dude, it's lined up nice and flush. Could be worse. Could be not flush. These little strong hands are kind of great, dude. They're all bendy. Woo! Hey, what happened to your door? Some yahoo in a parking lot?
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I let somebody broke.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, I would have felt better if I would have did.
Yeah, right. Look down the side of this. It's all parallel somehow.
That looks good, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. It's looking okay. What do you mean? This was all an accident. There we go. That bit in a little bit. Hey, how are you doing? Good, cool, thanks. Ugh. I'm gonna make this little cross member for just our steering support cross member.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it a like steering hoop, but you know, same purpose. Got a little bend action going on in here. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it is if you don't look too close. Those are, those dimples, those are hand grips. You know?
For your fingers.
Yeah. Oops. So what I'm thinking is this is gonna be here, or maybe a little bit lower. We need to put the cowl on. Woo!
He's out of there.
Okay, bolts. Cow, 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 cow. Okay, brother. That's not looking bad, dude. Somebody's watching going, that's not how you use F-clamps. And I agree with them. Take my strong hand.
Dude, that's your third idea for today. You're in a roll. You had two earlier at the same time.
Oh, way, dude, that's true. Ah! Ah, it was so close. Ah! The apex of this bend isn't exactly where I thought it was gonna be. This is going away. I'm gonna wind up tying this guy into here, and then from here we'll have some more triangulation coming down. It's gonna be super, super stout, I think. Just closes where it's supposed to close. That's kind of cool. Rung, rung. Yes, dude, I'm so excited about this. This is gonna be so cool. Also, with this being here, like you can't hit your own hands with your knees while you're trying to drive. That's annoying.
Like in go-karts at the track?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where you're like, oh, and then you slip and your knee hits you and you
Yep.
then you're in last.